Good morning, 2-3. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to math. Like we talked about yesterday, we are going to be doing time this week. So yesterday you had a nice little introduction. You all did extremely well on your Google Slides. And today now we're going to be going to Eureka lessons, but again, just based on time. And it is our skill and our standard in second grade that you need to know how to tell time to the nearest 5 minutes. So that, like I said, is going to be our focus for the entire week. Now, like we also talked about, it is a huge skill for you to know how to tell time. So please, anything you're confused about or you have questions, please let me know. Now let's go over your instructions for today. The first thing, you are going to watch my video, which will be below. Then I also put the Eureka lesson 14 video right here, which is 12 minutes. And then you're going to complete the problem set from lesson 14. As always, if you need help, you're going to message. Now, another thing I put is a link. When you click it, it's going to take you to all the homework helpers in module 8. You're just going to scroll through. And when you get to where it says lesson 14, it's just another resource like I always put in to help you with the lesson today if you need it, okay? So I just wanted to make sure that you understood that that's what this link is. It will take you to all the homework helpers and you would just go to the lesson 14, okay? Now let's look at what you're doing today. So yesterday it was a lot of, you had to drag and drop the times, you had to type the time, and you're going to still be doing some of those things in this Eureka lesson, but we're also going to be now drawing the hour hands and the minute hands on clocks to kind of get used to that as well, okay? So the very first thing that you have to do is you have to fill in the missing numbers. Now we know, because we are telling the time to the nearest 5 minutes, we know that the pattern is we have to count by fives, okay? So that's what they're starting you off with to get your mind ready about counting by fives. So all you're going to be doing here is you're going to be counting 0, 5, 10, 15. I'm going to stop. You're going to know what to do, okay? Now the second line, you're going to tell that the numbers are not starting low. The numbers started a little bit higher now because now they're counting backwards. So they want you to start high and then count down by fives. So we know that the highest, because we know, well, I would hope we know that there are how many minutes in a full hour? There are 60 minutes. So if you did that, give yourself a round of applause for that. 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we're going to start with 60, and then you are going to count back by fives now, okay? So that's what they want you to do there. Then again, they're going to give you now the clock. This looks very similar to what we had on yesterday's Google slide, and it just says 0, 5, and you're going to know 10, okay? 15, and then I want you to just keep going around. Now this clock is going to help you when you're filling out the rest of your worksheet, okay? So you can come back to look at this because everything will already be written when you need to do it. Now up here it's saying that it could be a 0, which we already know because you're starting at the 0, or it's also telling us that there's a total number of how many minutes in the hour, okay? So you should figure that out as you go around. Now this is the first thing that you have to do. They want you to draw the minute hand on the clock to match the time. Now remember, like we talked about yesterday, minute hands are long, hour hands are short. That's how we tell the difference. They cannot be the same size because then we would never know the difference between the hour and the minute. So it's very important that I'm letting you know now, you make it clear that your minute hand is longer than your hour hand. Otherwise, we won't know what time you're telling us, okay? So on this clock, they already have the hour. They're telling us we have to draw the minute. So the hour they already gave us is 3. Now they're telling us that we need to draw the minute hand because it's 3:25, okay? Sorry about that, 2-3. My son is fighting bedtime. So let's get back on track. We need to put the minute hand to the 25, okay? Now that means we need to start at the 12, which we're starting at 0, and we need to count by fives till we get to 25. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So this is where we need to draw the minute hand. So I'm going to come here to where it has drawing, and I'm just going to start here right in the middle, and I'm just going to draw a longer line to that 5. So you'll notice that the line that I drew is longer than the hour hand. That's what it needs to, and it's pointing directly at the 5. When you do this, it should not, your minute hand should not be in between two numbers. It should be directly at a number because we are counting by 5s. So it is directly on the 5, okay? You're going to do the same thing where you have to draw the minutes that it tells you for the next 2 clocks. The hour hands are there already. You're drawing the minute hand, okay? Now the next page, now they're telling us for number 4 that we have to draw the hour hands on the clock to match the correct time. So now we're drawing the shorter hand because they gave us the minute hand and we are drawing the shorter hand. So the very first one is telling us that it's 12:30. So they already have the minute. We now have to draw the hour hand. Now 12:30, a lot of us would point directly at the 12, but because it's already halfway through, it's going to be between. So we're going to draw the hour hand pointing between the 12 and the 1. And again, it has to be shorter. It cannot be as long as the minute hand. It has to be shorter, okay? So notice how I made my hour hand shorter than my minute hand, and I have it between. If I were to keep going, I see that it's in between the 12 and the 1. It's not 1 o'clock yet. It's going to be 1 o'clock, but it's not yet, okay? So that's what you have to do for these two. You need to draw the shorter, the hour hand. They're giving you the hour here. You have to add it. They already gave you the minute. Remember, they should not be the same size, okay? All right, so number 5, we now have to draw both. So they're giving us the time, and we have to draw both the hour and the minute to match the time, okay? So if you wanted to do this too, to make it even easier, you can do it in 2 different colors, and I'll model that for you in a second. Sometimes that helps when you're doing your hour and your minute hand, okay? So the time they're telling us is 6:55. So I am going to do the minute first. So I'm going to start at my 0. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So I need to make my minute hand, which is my long. I'm going to start right in the middle, and I'm going to draw it straight at the 11 because that's 55, okay? Now I'm just going to change the color, and I'm going to draw my hour hand. It's telling me that it's 6:55. Again, I'm not going to point it directly at the 6 because it's 6:55, which means it is very close to being the next hour. So when I draw my hour hand, I'm going to make it in between again where it's getting close to the 7. So if I were to drag it, it's not directly at the 7 yet, but it's almost going to be 7 o'clock. Okay, but right now it's 6:55. And again, look at, even though I did it in 2 different colors, my hour hand is shorter, my minute hand is longer, okay? I'm going to do one more. So now I'm going to do 1:50. So I will, for this one, start with my hour because I'm already on the color. So 1:50 again means that I'm close to the next hour. So when I draw my hour hand, I am not going to point it directly at the 1. It is going to be in between the 1 and the 2 because it is almost 2 o'clock, okay? So again, I'm putting it in between, okay? It's not directly at the 2, it's not directly at the 1. Now I'm going to do my minute, which is I need to be at the 50. So I'm going to start up here at 0. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I need it to point directly here. So I'm going to start in the middle, and this is the minute hand, so it's going to be longer. And I'm going to point it directly at the 10. Okay? So you have the option. You can use 2 different colors to help you with your minute and your hour hand, or you can use the same color. But just be clear that your minute hand needs to be long and your hour hand needs to be short, okay? Then down here, you need to actually write what time it is. So you're going to go to your text box, or you could write it whatever you want. It's up to you. And you're going to type in the time that it shows you on the clock. So here, let's start with our hour. We have our hour hand, which is shorter, pointing in between the 1 and the 2. Remember, I told you when it's in between, you always choose the 1 before. So it will be 1. Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Then you are going to now do your minutes. So you're going to start up here and count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So the minute is 35. So the time is 1:35, and that's all you're going to do. You're just going to type it in just like that, okay? You're going to do the same thing here. Now the last page is pretty much exactly what we just did. On these clocks here, you are drawing again the hour and the minute hands. And down here for these two, you are typing in what time it is. Okay? The only thing that I quickly want to go over, something that I saw on your work yesterday. If the minute hand is pointing to the 1, okay, is pointing to the 1, some of us were writing it like this. So we would write 7, 5. That's not a time. I know that this is 5 minutes when we count 5, and that's a 5-minute, but that's not how you write it. You need to write it 7:05. There has to be a 0 in front of it, okay? It can't just be a 5. So I just wanted to make that clear because I saw a couple of us had that issue on our work yesterday, which is fine. It's just a teaching point for me to make, which I wanted to make to get that clear. If you still have a question about it, just let me know. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. Other than that, this is your work today. If you have any questions at all, you're confused, please let me know. I'm here to help you.